Hello everyone. Hi, how are you guys doing? I am Manish and thank you for joining for one more video. And in this particular video, I'm going to talk about letter of support. What is a letter of support, how to apply it, who can apply for it, and all those details that you have seen me answer in this particular channel. I just realized I have not covered this in much detail. I think I covered it in one of my live sessions, but I didn't cover it in any of the educational videos that I have done. So let me do that. Okay. And I will take an example of one particular stream for this particular explanation. So I am just taking an example of documentation or details available on the rural renewal stream portal, but this should be valid for all of the portals. Okay. So don't worry about any other portal. So I'm just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just taking rural renewal stream. So who is this particular discussion valid for? So say this discussion is important for somebody who has got PNP nomination, who is already nominated for PNP, and for certain reason is needs some documentation to be able to extend their work permit till the decision on their PR application is completed, right? So for example, say if I got my nomination under rural renewal stream and I need some document to it to be able to extend my work permit, then how do I do that, right? There could be a variety of reasons. Maybe I was under a closed work permit, now I'm not getting a support from my employer, or maybe IRCC just asked for a letter of support. That is also possible. Like at many times IRCC would ask us that, okay, hey, you got nominated, so get me a letter of support from your province. So that could be also possible. So but then that's a different thing. Okay, now how do you go about it? So this discussion would be right from the basics. What is the letter of support and everything? So I just covered what is a letter of support. So if you go into, say for example here, after you apply, so you should always keep your work permit current. You should not let your work permit expire. That is the basic thing that you should do even after you get your nomination. Getting your nomination is different and extending your work permit is different. So if you get your nomination, it's not automatic that IRCC will extend your work permit. That is not automatic. Okay. So before your PR application is approved, you should maintain a legal status in Canada. And a way of doing that is to keep extending your work permit till your PR application is approved. Okay. Now, who is this particular criteria applicable for? Now, if you need a letter of support, that letter of support is called a 204C letter of support. There is a 205A letter of support, but that is for entrepreneurs. But 204C is for workers. So if you are getting a letter of support, if you are an employee worker, you are looking for a 204C letter of support from Aaip. Obviously, for that you need to have a job in Alberta. You must be working in Alberta and things like that. So if you're not working in Alberta, you're not eligible to get a letter of support. That goes, I think that's pretty logical. Say if you're working in Ontario and you got a nomination from Alberta, then you cannot apply for a nomination letter of support if you're not already working in Alberta, right? So that is very important to understand. Okay, so extend your work permit. Work permit extension is required. That is very clarified, categorically clarified. Now there are 4 options and letter of support is the last option. Okay, so first is renew your work permit with your employer, working with your employer. Okay, so what does that mean? Your employer must have applied for a LMIA. If LMIA is required, then your employer must have requested for a work permit. Work with your employer and get your work permit renewed. If LMIA needs to change, whatever needs to change, first thing is working based on working with your employer. Next option is if you don't have a LMIA. If you are working in Alberta but don't have an LMIA, like for example intercompany transferee, spouse of a work permit holder, things like that. If you qualify for a LMIA exemption, then you can also apply for a work permit renewal. So option 1 and 2 are direct renewals with IRCC. So you have the first two options cover scenarios where you have a LMIA and whether you don't have an LMIA or you have an LMIA exemption. Okay. The next is a different type of work permit, which is a bridging open work permit. Now, bridging open work permit is, as the name says, it's a work permit. It's not a letter of support. This is available only to nominees. Number one, it's available to nominees. So you must have been nominated by Alberta already, and you must have started your application. You must have started your work PR applications with IRCC, and you have something called an acknowledgement of receipt. Acknowledgement of receipt is a document that you get from IRCC after you have submitted your application, paid your fees, and you get a acknowledgement of receipt. So if you have an acknowledgement of receipt, then you can apply for a bridging open work permit directly with IRCC. So you go to this particular link here. So this link will take you to let me open this link where it takes us. So if you open this particular link, this will take you to the home page for bridging open work permit, where you can see more information about bridging open work permit. I think I have a video for bridging open work permit, or if not, I'll just do one more for this. So bridging open, I think I have a video for this where I explain differences between different type of work permits. So, okay, not stepping aside. So we're talking about third option where you are applying, where you got your nomination and you are applying for a bridging open work permit. This bridging open work permit is an open work permit, and since it's bridging, it basically means that it's valid till you get your PR. Okay. So this is the third option. So this option, you can use this option if you say want to convert your closed work permit to an open work permit by the time your PR application is pending. Okay. But then remember, this is only valid till your PR decision is taken, right? If for any reason, God forbid, your PR application is rejected, then you lose the legal status in Canada also. Okay. So you would go to the IRCC site and complete the bridging open work permit process. So this is the bridging open work permit option. Okay. Now, if for any reason 1, 2, and 3 doesn't work, okay, for any reason this doesn't work, then you get something called a letter of support, which you can use to renew your work permit. Okay. So any work permit that you have, you can renew your work permit based on this letter of support. It's possible that at some point of time, IRCC might also ask for a letter of support. But say your work permit is expiring, option 1, 2, and 3 is not working for you for some reason, then you obtain something called a 204C letter of support. Okay. Now, this is not an automatic letter that you will get. This is a letter you would get as you will have to request for this particular letter. Okay. Once you have requested for this particular letter, this letter Aaip will review your application and provide you the letter of support. So this letter of support has to be applied for, number one, and then there is no guarantee. Aaip says that if you apply for a letter of support, you will be given a letter of support. Okay, so for this you will have to apply. How do you apply? I'll just take you through, and you have to pay a fees of 150 Canadian dollars for this particular application. So how do you apply? You still apply through the Alberta immigration portal. So if you go to the Alberta Advantage immigration portal, I'll just take you through. You log in and you go here, create a new request. If you already, I don't have an application in progress, so I cannot show you, but if you have an application in progress, you can submit a request for letter of support. Right now, I don't see an option here because obviously I don't have an application, but this is the place where you would come to complete your request for letter of support. And then once you have created that letter of support, you can also come here and check the status of that particular report. Then you will have to pay a fees of $150, which you can pay through this particular link. Make sure you already have your nomination before you apply, because this fees is not refundable. So if you have just applied for your PNP, your decision on your PNP is not there, you don't have a nomination certificate under any of the streams for that matter. So it doesn't matter if you're applying under AOS or whatever. So if you are eligible for, if you already got a nomination certificate, only then apply for a letter of support. You will have to upload certain supporting documents and pay a non-refundable fee of $150 online. The website says it can take up to 28 days for Aaip to respond to your request. So make sure you take this action. You are always aware of when your work permit is expiring. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, and then once you get your letter of support, you can include a copy of your letter of support, your acknowledgement of receipt from Ircc, and then apply for a new work permit based on this particular letter of support. Okay, so this is a fourth option. So this, as it says, this is the fourth option available. And obviously in terms of preference, option 1, 2 and 3 are more preferred. Option 1 is more preferred than option 2. Option 2 is more preferred than option 3. Option 3 is more preferred than option 4, and 1, 2 and 3 together are more preferred. Try and see if your work permit part is handled through one of these options, and if not, letter of support option is always there. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover. Sadly, I cannot show you how to fill up the letter of support application form because I don't have that access, but I'm sure it should not be much. There is a step-by-step description here, but it says you have to upload some documents. So make sure you read through the application process and submit all the documentation and pay the fees. Okay, and then here it says if who have a written request from Ircc do not need to pay the service fee. So this is good. If Ircc for some reason I asked you for a letter of support, then you save that money. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover in this particular discussion. I hope this is helpful for you guys. If not, let me know. How can I improve on my videos? And if you have any questions, reach out to me and I will try my best to answer your questions. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.